Shout outs to the intro. Welcome to Rich Talks, podcast where we do music commentary, cultural commentary, deep dives, and just interesting topics in general. I'm your host, Ankh, aka Ree. Now let's get into it. I thought I told you that we won't stop. Nah. But today I want to talk a little bit about frauds and fraudulent behavior. Now with the release of the FBI footage of Diddy putting hands and feet on Cassie, well, you know, it's one thing when you read about it and like in the description and stuff of events, but then when you actually see it, it's like, it's night and day, man. Like it's totally different because you know how there's the saying, letting your imagination run wild, or how some people prefer to read books over watching moving pictures, because the visuals that they imagine in their own minds is like sometimes more entertaining, vivid. Like I don't know, but I guess the right word to use, I'm not really sure what the right word to use there for it, but when discussing such wild things as a grown-ass man putting his hands and feet, feet too, nah, that's just way too personal, like, on, not just on another person, because, you know, men can handle this shit, like, we see this shit all the time. Hell, in high school, we used to watch bum fights on the internet, like, what do you mean? But yo, it's very, very off-putting when you see with your own eyes, like a grown-ass man running to a noticeably smaller woman and giving her a clean death to the head. Like, yo, she basically turned into a ragdoll after that. Oh, for those that aren't familiar with Toronto slang, a death is like basically when you slap the shit out of somebody. Like when you gotta like visibly pull your arm back, kind of like, you know, and slap the shit out of somebody. That's a defos. Like when you see shit go down in the way it did on that video, yo, it really just like, it hurts your heart, man. Like, at least for those of us that have hearts. Like, I'll say that much, because I'm not gonna speak for everybody. To anyone who was like claiming that Cassie was lying or just suing Freak Off for money, like, I hope you all stand on that hill, because this footage is so absolutely damning that nobody can fend this, bro. Like, you cannot fend this. If you're standing on that hill, we're sending bazookas at you. Like, come on, man, you're dying on that hill.
You're a victim.
It's horrible. Like, yo, you remember when the allegations from Cassie like originally dropped, and after that you just started seeing like women coming out of the woodwork with like accusations of their own, and the Diddler put out that random statement on Instagram with the title "Enough is enough." Y'all remember that? Remember, like, I remember there was like a excerpt from that post which had me like really thinking back, because like, yo, did this guy really put out this? And now we're seeing this footage and like, yo, you gotta walk that back, son. Like, what the hell? Like, he basically said, what was the excerpt said, sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear.
You're nasty.
Like, yo, every time I hear anyone say "let me be absolutely clear," the only thing I can think of is the federal Liberal government of Canada, like, because that's their go-to phrase. Let me be absolutely clear, and then not actually clearly state their position on like answering a question or anything. Well, sorry, I'm getting off on a different tangent, but let me say that again. He's like, sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Yeah, okay. Well, now, reading this back, I don't think this post was actually written by the Diddler himself, because it must have been his PR team, because, like, come on, man. If this man really wrote all of this, knowing full well that there was this video footage somewhere in the world showing just how much of a piece of shit human being he is, then there's no other word to describe this man other than psychopath. Like, for real. Like, or what? Maybe he's gonna blame it on the alcohol, or say that he was a different person back then, and he's been doing the work and whatnot. Like, yo, every time I see this man talking to cameras, it's just so off-putting, man. Like, it doesn't even feel authentic. P. Diddler, the fraud. Like, that's all I see this guy as whenever he speaks. Like, and I low-key feel like he's not sober most of the time. Like, why else would he be doing all of these erratic things? Like with his level of money and fame, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, a lot of times, like, too much alcohol will have you slipping up with your words, and even if you've been, like, media trained to not say certain things in front of the camera, well, like, come on, man. It's crazy. Like, but it's like he's been running away from something for a long time. And you know what I think it is? Like, personally, I think he's been trying to, like, run away from accountability for the past 20 years. Maybe not just accountability. He's been running from karma for the past 20 plus years. You know what I mean? Like, yo, y'all really think about this. Like, really, really think about it. The whole East Coast, West Coast beef from the 90s, it wasn't even started by Tupac and Biggie. Like, those two were genuinely friends. Like, the whole beef actually started between Suge Knight and the Diddler. Basically, it all started due to a drunken argument between the Diddler and Suge outside of a club in New York. Like, Suge had one person with him at the time who was his bodyguard, because they're in New York, like, obviously. And Diddler had, come on, man, like, it's New York. This guy had everybody. Anyway, so they're outside arguing, and apparently Diddler's getting, like, mad aggressive. Like, he's up in Suge's face and whatnot. So, and they're just, like, having this back and forth, right? And for whatever reason, nobody really explained it, but, like, a brother by the name of Wolf, who was Diddler's close friend and bodyguard at the time, ended up pulling out his gun and just, like, firing a shot over at Suge and his bodyguard, and that actually ended up killing Suge's bodyguard. So that's where their tension originally started from, and, like, Suge has been trying to, like, kind of, like, get his get back ever since, right? So a little after that incident, the whole East Coast West Coast war kind of popped off, and, like, rumor has it that this is alleged, of course, but rumor has it that Diddler either sacrificed Wolf or, like, basically set him up to get killed. And, like, because this is his so-called best friend and bodyguard at the time, because they say that the same day that Wolf was killed, Diddler allegedly threw a party. It's just very ominous, man. Like, I don't know what to believe there, but it's crazy. Personally, I'm a big believer in the concept of karma, because I feel like karma has no ETA, really. Like, it shows up when it wants to. Like, it will hit you when it hits you, because think about it. Like, almost all the major players involved in the starting or the exacerbation of the East-West beef, they've been removed from the chessboard. Like, except for one man. Tupac died, Biggie died, Wolf died, Suge's in prison for the rest of his life. Like, but the Diddler, like, literally like a Batman villain, has been running around New York for 20 plus years, doing whatever the fuck he wants. Like, like, he's from Batman's Villains Rogues Gallery. Like, is he the real life Joker? Like, it's crazy. It's not right. It's just not right. Like, this man is such a fraud, bro. Like, he's a fraud. He gives off fraudulent energy, and that's really hard to shake, because you don't really see any type of authenticity when you look at this man. Like, what's authentic about him? Nothing about him feels authentic. And you know what's actually ironic? Like, seeing that footage released, it actually kind of reminded me of something. Like, yo, shout outs to Reddit, man. You can always find like the wildest happenings going on Reddit. So I randomly stumbled on one of those scam alert Reddit posts where someone was like essentially put out a bulletin to avoid doing any business dealings with this confirmed frauds or scammers or whatever, right? So normally I just check the title and I move on, right? But this time I had to stop for a second because they showed a photo of the fraud in question, not just the name. Like, they actually had a photo of the person, and lo and behold, this fraud that they had posted was actually somebody I went to high school with.
What?
Now, one thing I'll say about this person, he always kind of had an untrustworthy energy about him, like, but even back then, like, to me anyway. But he also had this like strange charisma to him that kind of like kept him able to still get into people's good graces even after doing like some sneaky or underhanded things. You know what I mean? Like, you know how there's just like some individuals that even from like as young as high school, you kind of get like an inkling of the life path that this person will kind of end up on a little bit. Like,
what?
Like me, like me and him were never friends. Like, it was always more like friend adjacent. Like, we'd see each other in the hallways, it's whatever, or I'll randomly see him on the block hanging out with my peoples. So now I kind of gotta interact with him, kind of situation. Like, but I wasn't ever trying to get close to him or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, so anyways, back to the Reddit thread. So basically, it went on to detail the fact that this fraud that I went to high school with, and apparently his girlfriend, they had like this investment company or something to that regard, and they somehow scammed $500,000 from this individual in question. Yo, like, they even showed like text messages between the victim and Mr. Fraud, a copy of the contract, which is a stupid looking contract, by the way. Like, the contract looked mad shiesty. Like, what do you mean? Like,
you're a victim.
I'm not even gonna go in on that. Like, even a screenshot of the alleged victim, like, standing outside of Mr. Fraud's house, alleging that he went to go see him and literally witnessed Mr. Fraud like jumping behind the couch like shit's a movie or something, like, you know, trying to hide behind the couch and shit, like it's some kind of comedy or drama. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Anyways, now after getting over my initial shock of just seeing someone, like, you know, that you're familiar with, like in real life, just being put on blast on the internet for all to see, like, I started asking myself a bunch of questions about the whole situation. Like, first and foremost, why didn't the Reddit poster or the victim or whoever go to the police with this?
You're a victim.
That's easily a freaking fraud over or what, theft over 5,000 charge. Like, come on, man. See, if someone took $500,000 from me, I would literally exhaust all legal methods possible to get the money back, and then if I exhausted all legal methods, then I'd start looking into extra legal methods, you know.
What?
But you know, but then I kind of ended up answering my own question with just asking these questions, because if the victim had obtained this money legitimately, I mean, I doubt that they'd really have any problems going to the police to get their money back, right? And I'm not to say that I'm assuming that the victim obtained this money through like illegal means, but like, come on. I was born at night, not last night. Like, it does not require a detective exam to put two and two together in this instance. Like, why would you come to Reddit and not to the police? I'm just saying. But whatever. My next question though was, if this was an illegitimately obtained amount of money, then there's certainly like a high level of danger that comes along with like messing with people that make that kind of money, right? But again, my hood brain kicked in, and again, it's like very odd that the victim themselves would film themselves going to the fraud's house, and the fact that they even knew where the fraud lives is crazy to me. And like you still don't have your money and you know where this person lives. That is wild.
You're
but
a victim.
like he must be down really bad, or like what's the case here? Like, how do you not get your money back? Like, were you just gonna go over there, knock on his door, and ask politely for your money back? Like, what the fuck?
You're a victim.
Like, this person just sounds like a regular person that just happened to get scammed out of maybe some crypto funds or something, like, or maybe some lottery winning. Probably not lottery winnings, because probably not lottery winnings. It sounds like something more like a crypto investment, or like this was a quick flip that you just happened to get a lot of money on, and then wanted to invest that. Why don't you just invest that into a proper company, man? This is wild. Anyways, it just seems more likely to be a case here because, like, come on, man. Someone with that amount of money,
you're a victim.
How are you gonna choose a company with like no real like portfolio or proof of successes? Like, I understand maybe you wanted to like help out another black business, or like, nah, man. Like if you're dealing with investments to that degree, you gotta make sure that you're dealing with reputable sources that can prove their prove what they've done with their investments, like actually have testimonials and whatnot. Like, how the bruh? Nah, this is crazy, man. This is $500,000. Anyway, one thing I will always be suspicious of when it comes to investments is when the person doing the investment actually like starts guaranteeing returns. Like in those text messages, like you could kind of see that like returns were guaranteed. And investing is kind of like gambling. Like there's absolutely no way that you can guarantee any amounts, really, unless you're scamming or cheating the system. Like, come on, man. Because if you could guarantee a return, then everyone would technically be rich because everyone would be investing and nobody would ever lose, right? What would be the point of gambling then? You know, like the more I think about Mr. Fraud, I realized something. There was once a time in high school, I remember when this man was like straight up fighting a girl, like straight up fighting a girl. Yup. But it's actually not what you think, because this girl kind of folded him still. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, she folded him. She won that fight. But the funny thing is, she wasn't even a big girl, and I'm glad that she did too, because it definitely was. He definitely deserved that back then. Like, come on, man. You don't put hands on a girl, man. Especially physical altercations with women. It's like, yo, you're so much less of a man at that point, man.
You're a victim.
Which reminds me though, Diddler's former bodyguard has been telling us all about this stuff for years, about how horrible this man is for years. And everyone just still glossed over it, or allowed it, or brushed it aside, or it's actually like crazy, honestly. Like, I think about this. Like, even the FBI knew about like they've been investigating this man since Tupac died, man. Since the 90s. Like, they've been investigating Diddy. They've been knowing about this stuff. I feel like he must have had some kind of special deal with them. Like maybe he was part of this whole music industry to prison pipeline in some way. Like getting artists and like basically leading them on a path that basically ends up putting more artists into the prison system, and then feeding that Because like, yo, America makes money off of prisoners, and that's just a fact. It's the new slavery. Anyway, sorry. Getting off on different tangents again. Like I remember his bodyguard actually had a story one time where he said Diddler was beating on his child's mother, Kim Porter, rest in peace to her, in a crazy aggressive manner too. And that time when he witnessed it, it was to the point where she had actually ended up grabbing like one of those wine bottle corkscrews, and she's like slashed his wrist to basically get him to stop. Like this, come on, man. Like when you hear shit like that, you know, like that's
You nasty.
I don't even know what to say about that, man. Like this person was not in control of himself, and him just putting out this apology video. Oh, I was not in the right mind. I was a different person back then. Like man, nigga, get that garbage out of here. Like, and the man just comes out with like, it's just the wackest apology video. Like, it just seemed so forced, so
You nasty.
fake. Like, I couldn't believe that apology. Nothing about that apology felt sincere in any capacity.
You're a victim.
Like, it's not gonna help you at all, man. Like, nobody believes you anymore. We don't believe you. You don't even need more people. You can get more people. We still won't believe you. Like, you're psychotic, and your son shouldn't be jumping in on this either. Yo, Christian. I'm not even gonna call you King Combs, cause no, nigga, no. Listen, Christian. Didn't your daddy ever teach you to stay out of grown folks' business? Like, didn't anyone ever tell you to sit down and shut up when the adults are talking? Like, this man really thought he was doing something by dropping a track dissing the king of social media trolling himself, 50 Cent. Like, come on. He even taunted the FBI in the same song. You don't go after 50 Cent, man. Like, your daddy has been beefing with 50 probably longer than you've been alive. Like, and 50's been winning. Like, every single time 50 just calls out Puffy's weirdness, man. And like, I get you standing up trying to defend your dad, but like, even your dad's not defending himself during this FBI investigation. You should have taken some of his advice and just like not said a fucking word. Like, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because look what you done did. Like, you went and taunted 50 of all people. Like, my God, 50 is relentless when it comes to when he has a target. He is relentless. So good luck there. And also like taunting the FBI. Really?
What?
Saying something like, y'all raided the wrong house? You're acting like the investigation is over? Like, what kind of foolishness is that? You know what? It really does say something about how petty the feds can be, though. Like, we think 50 is petty, but like, I think the feds can be very petty too, considering that this footage of the Diddler doing this heinous act was released like a day after Christian dropped his little diss song there. So shout outs to the feds for being as petty as they are too. And like, yeah. I feel like Mr. Fraud and the Diddler are actually like very similar to some degree. Like Mr. Fraud, the one that I went to high school with, the fact that both of them at some point in their lives felt that it was within their right to play these power games with women. Now I'm not sure if the person that was scammed of the $500,000 was a woman, but like I can't tell. But I'm just talking about in regards to like that time I remember him actually like fighting a girl in high school, which is crazy, man. What are you doing? Like, you know, it's weird. Like, they play these type of power games that you really wouldn't dare to try one-on-one with a man of equal size and strength, because, you know, us as men, we have like this it's this unwritten kind of subconscious understanding that there's like there's a barrier. There's this level of violence barrier, if you will, that basically if you pass that threshold, then violence will be there will be violence. Like that's why there's like a respect there, you know, like it's just subconscious respect, knowing that if you cross that threshold, just understand that there is a chance for some violence to be had, and we innately just understand that. And like for example, like I actually like to use this analogy a lot when it comes to straight men only. I'm just talking for straight men. Universally speaking, one of the most disrespectful things you can say to a straight man is to invite them to your genitals. I think when speaking across the board for all straight men, regardless of race, I'm just saying, like regardless of race, that is something universally adopted that will lead to a negative resolution. A lot of the times, violent resolution. Sometimes, like I don't mean always physically violent, but verbally violent. Like it's just a negative resolution. But that's not to say that certain racial words won't garner a similar response based on like the race of the person involved. But like I'm talking more so like at a universal level. Like if you were to call a white guy a cracker or something, majority of the time I don't think that would invoke the same level of animosity that you'd receive if that white person were to say a racially derogatory word at a Asian or brown person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but now universally speaking, inviting a straight man to your genitals is essentially calling into question their manhood. You're basically inferring that they are a woman by inviting them to perform actions that you would only ask a woman to do. Like, asking someone, bruh, like, you don't ever ask me to Akinyele. What? Are you kidding me? Like, attacking a man's manhood can lead to all sorts of problems. We're actually kind of fragile like that. I'm not even gonna front. We are fragile when it comes to that aspect. You know, because that was actually a big go-to reference when they were dropping disses at each other back in the 90s, right? You were trying to get as disrespectful to each other as possible, right? So like, especially when you're looking to be like extra disrespectful to somebody. So like, for example, like Death Row certainly used it a lot. In the track Dre Day, remember? Was it? Yeah, Dre Day. Fuck with Dre Day? Yeah. Where they were like dissing Eazy-E, Luke Campbell, aka Uncle Luke, Tim Dog. Like, remember when Snoop was like, so what that lets you know that if you fuck with Dre, nigga, you're fucking with Death Row. And I ain't even swinging them things. I'm hollering 187 with my dick in your mouth, bitch. Hey, yo, no Diddy, dog. Yo, man, don't do that. Or what about what he said? With my nuts on your tonsils, while you on stage rapping at your whack ass concerts. Yo. And then it actually kind of got kind of gross after that, because what did Dre say after that? And I'ma snatch your ass from the backside to show you how Death Row pull off that hoorah. Hey yo, no Diddy, yo. Okay, that song was very egregious. Very, but you see what I mean though, right? Like it's just so disrespectful, man. Like, don't ever come up to me as a man and tell me to Akinyele. Bro. If you know, you know that reference. Like, if y'all remember Akinyele, he had that song, just put it in your mouth. So it's kind of like people just use his name as reference to associate with inviting somebody to your genitals. Yeah, disgusting. I'm disgusted. This is all nasty. But that's why I think frauds like the Diddler like to play these weird games of power, you know, like where they try to get people to do things that make them look like less of a person almost. Like, oh, I can get you to do this for me? I bet. Let's see how far I can take this. Let's see what else I can get this person to do for me. Like, and you know what like, let's record it too so they can try to buck back. Like, it's weird, man. Like, they play these weird power games. I don't think I would ever understand these weird games because, like, I don't know. Maybe they're just so shameless that you can't embarrass them in any way. So I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic that these guys have, and they play these blackmail games with each other. Like, it's all just crazy weirdo stuff, man. Like, you're just absolutely out of control. Like, you know, absolutely power over someone's probably super addictive to a psychopath. Like, it's all just really nasty behavior to me, though. Nasty work. Speaking of nasty behavior, though, I think Drake really has a problem when it comes to other people's women, man. Like, it's kind of foul, man. Like, if you really go down the list of some other people's women that he's slept with that we're aware of, it's pretty nasty. Like, when Wayne went to jail, Drake smashed his girl. DJ Drama, I remember, paid him for a feature. Drake smashed his girl. He took Rick Ross's ex-girl on a trip to the islands back when they were still on good terms, making music together. And I don't know if she was even Rick Ross's ex at the time when Drake took her to the islands, right? But it's just super weird, bro. He also had that super weird love triangle with him, Rihanna, and Chris Brown. And you know, Rihanna was really the clear winner during that saga. Like, to the point where you had Drake and Chris Brown, they had to make music together to make it look like they're cool with each other. But like, shortly after they make the song together, you kind of like, there's tension again. Like, you know, they're kind of sneak dissing each other again. Like, it's weird, man. These guys are weirdos. I think there was also rumors that he smashed one of Future's baby mothers after they did Life is Good album together, or during. I'm not even really sure the timeline. Like, supposedly the tension between him and producer Metro Boomin is because they both slept with the same girl. And he allegedly even tried to smash The Weeknd's girl when they were still on good terms and working together. Like, it's actually crazy, man. Like, there's been this long-standing rumor about Drake that when it comes to female artists, that he'll only collaborate with women he has, like, a romantic interest in. I understand the argument that, well, Drake's not homies with any of these people, but even if it's like a business relationship, you still kind of have to, like, give the next man enough respect to not sleep with the man's woman, man. Like, yo, no wonder all these niggas are out dissing you all of a sudden. Like, come on, man. It's actually really disrespectful. Like, the more you think about it, it's like he's playing these power games too. Like, it's kind of fraudulent on Drake's part. Like, not in the same fashion that obviously the Diddler's doing by trying to break people, but like the way Drake is doing his power games, it's a little more subtle and it's almost just as devious, you know? Because he's coming to you from like a place of like feigned kindness, having y'all work together, then he'll get in good with you. Like, it seems like y'all are like really cool, and then he'll go and smash your girl as if like he's entitled to do so, or if something that he's owed, like because he hopped on a record with you or he did an album with you. Or like, hey, yo, don't nobody owe you nothing, Drake. Like, especially if it's the bodily autonomy of their significant other. Like, come on, man. Which they don't even control to begin with. Like, I'm doing my Joe Budden. But you know what's interesting about the Drake versus Kendrick saga? Something I actually really found interesting about that whole saga is, now that all the diss tracks are kind of like done and like the dust is kind of settling a little bit and everyone's kind of just like giving their thoughts on how the battle went down and like the tactics used by each side, I actually started to like kind of notice that there's there's a weird narrative around the fact that people are trying to like kind of disparage Kendrick for getting fed fake info about Drake having a fake 11-year-old daughter or whatever, and these people will die on that hill. Like, why would he run? Why like, hold on. Like, they're dying on the hill that why is Kendrick running with this with no evidence on that, right? Like, why is he running with this info with no evidence? But then at the same time, these same people will levy the accusation that Kendrick is a woman beater because Drake said so in a song, also with no evidence of their own to substantiate this. And like, I think that one thing that a lot of people actually tend to overlook and forget about Kendrick is that he's an artist when he raps. If you notice on every single album, he has like a specific theme or concept in mind that he runs with. And I think it's absolutely to his credit, his ability to make people instantly assume that in each instance that he's talking, that it's about himself when it's actually not. It's crazy. Like, think about it from the perspective of someone who does their own creative writing. Like, I actually do some creative writing too. Like, sometimes you actually want to challenge yourself and in your mind to be able to like kind of see something or see what something would look like from a different point of view than your own, and like or how you think it would look like from a different point of view, right? And we're just able to like write out these visuals for you, and it almost seems like we actually experienced it ourselves when in fact we probably haven't. Like, it's just a talent, it's just a skill, like, you know, because our imaginations are a powerful tool for us to kind of get these thoughts and these messages out, you know. Like, Kendrick has rapped from like different perspective, different points of view on many different songs. Like, remember the song "Sing About Me," "I'm Dying of Thirst" from the Good Kid, Mad City album? Like, that was dope. Like, I don't think anybody would ever believe that Kendrick has actually like killed somebody and then went and made an album telling everybody that he went and killed somebody. Like, come on, guys, really? Come on, use your thinker. Use your common sense.
What?
Why would I say that? Like, cause like it feels like he was doing like a similar concept on the most recent album, Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers, or is it Mr. Morales or Mr. Morals and the Big Steppers? I always keep getting this confused because it looks like it could be both. It's probably Mr. Morals, but why am I going off on this tangent? Who cares? Sorry. So on that most recent album, on the song, like, some people are saying that Drake kind of got all of his info about Kendrick from what Kendrick said in the song "Mother I Sober," which again I believe is just Kendrick kind of just rapping from a different point of view. Like, I really don't think that he was molested as a kid by his cousin, or that his aunt became a transgender man, or that he's beat his wife, or like, especially that last part, because like if he really did ever put his hands on his wife, I'm sure there'd be somewhere that this can be looked up like quite easily. A convicted domestic violence case, you don't just sweep that under the rug, especially if it's somebody of Kendrick's celebrity caliber, you know? Like, this is something that would be heavily scrutinized, and people would be digging for this, and it would be popping up all over the place if that was if that was actually true. But yeah, man, I think I've said enough, man. As my brother would say, like, I'm just chatting shit, man. I'm just chatting shit. But yeah, man, I think I'm gonna call it. So yeah, yo, salute to the outro. Peace.